He professes.
Sounds familiar. No, I think I met him.
Yeah, you met him here.
Oh, okay.
Chumash Rashi. We are in the Torah portion, Vayeitzei. Yaakov and his wives have 11 children by now. They have created great wealth with much struggle. And we continue in the narrative. We are
Sixth reading,
the sixth reading, exactement.
page 212.
212 in the Chitas book, chapter 31 in Sefer Bereshis, Genesis, verse number 17. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu shachol v'oreh. Chaim bracha. Oh, Chaim's coffee. Shkoyach. Okay. Okay. Let's go right into it.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Okay. Verse number 17. V'yakam Yaakov, and Yaakov arose, v'yisa, and he lifted Esbanav. He lifted his sons, Vesnashav, and his wives, ala gemalim, onto the camels. Yeah, you need someone to help you on the camel. Vesbanav Vesnashav, his sons and his wives. Hiktim Zacharim and Nekevas. He prefaced the males before the females. Ve'esav Hiktim Nekevas Zacharim. And Esav did the opposite, his brother. He put the females ahead of the males. Shenemar, as it says, V'yikach Esav Vesnashav his Banav, that Esav took his wives and his sons. It's interesting that he points this out. He doesn't say a purpose to point it out, right? He just points it out. So, okay, commentators, there's different commentators that explain that what Rashi wants to bring out over here is that that Yaakov looked at marriage for what you create in marriage. And you create in marriage a family. So therefore he put the result of marriage, right, the children, the sons, the 11 sons that were born, before the wives. Where Esav, for him, family was secondary, and his desire just for capturing women was his first desire.
A little bit of Hashivas.
Yeah, or what you value in life, I guess. Yeah. What your values are. Okay. That's the commentator who's explaining what Rashi is pointing out. And he led away his livestock, and all of his possessions, that he amassed the wealth, of acquisitions, of kinyanoi property, that he acquired Padan Aram, in the place called Padan Aram, where he was, Lavai, El Yitzchak, to come back now to his Yitzchak, his father, Arza Canaan, to the land of Canaan. Mikne Kinyane, acquisitions of his property. Well, what was the property exactly over here? It's property you usually think about like land, right? It's usually what you would say the word property, but it doesn't mean that here. So he explains, that which he acquired from his flocks of Adim Mishvaches, Ugmalim Mechamayrim, right? Of slave women, camels, and donkeys. You remember, Rashi explained that to us yesterday, that the verse said that he had all of these possessions, but yet he didn't work for them. He only worked with livestock, right? With sheep and goats. That's all he worked with, but he traded them in, cashed them in for other possessions. Right. So that's what it means over here, property that he acquired. 19, V'lavan halach And Lavan went ligzais is tzayna to shear his sheep. Betignoi Rachel, and Rachel stole is a terofim. We'll just use the word terofim. We'll see Rashi. Asher la aviha, terofim that belonged to her father, she stole. Rashi in 19. Ligzais is saying he went to shear his sheep. Shenasan biyad banav that he put in care of his sons. Remember, his sons were taking care of them. Derech shlish yamim, a 3-day journey separated from Yaakov. Right? We learned that already. Beinoi b'nei Yaakov, between him and Yaakov. B'tignei Rachel is a terafim. Rachel stole terafim. Lahafish avia me'avodah zarah niskabna. Her intent was to separate her father from idolatry. The terafim are an idol. They were an idol.
They would tell him exactly what's going on, where they're going, where they are. He communicated with them.
Yeah. Okay. Verse. That was 19. Now we go to
22.
Oops. What's going on here?
21, sorry.
21. Verse 20.
No, 20.
V'yignaiv. Verse 20. V'yignaiv Yaakov is slave Lavan, and Yaakov. Also, the word ganav over here means he stole.
Trick.
Means he deceived, right? Just like a thief deceives. So Yaakov deceives Lavan, the heart of Lavan Harami, the Armenian, or the Aramean, not Armenian. Sorry, there were no Armenians in. Albli higidloid, not without telling him that he's running away. He's running away now. So he deceived him, and that was not what he had told him earlier, right? Gonna make his wealth, and right, but now he's leaving. He left 3-day journey away. Now he's on his way. Vivrach, and he fled. Who? Him. B'chol asher lo, and all that was to him, to Yaakov, everything that belonged to him. V'yakom, and he arose, v'yaver sanar, and he crossed the river. V'yosim is panav Har Gilad, and he set in the direction of Har Gilad, of the Mount of Gilad. 22. V'yugad, and it was told to Lavan, but Yom HaShlishi, on the 3rd day, Ki barach Yaakov, the Yaakov ran off. Rashi. Yom HaShlishi, on the 3rd day, because there were a 3-day journey between them, right? So he came back now from his, and it was a 3-day journey, and it was told him he ran off. Okay, Vikach is Echa, and Lavan took his brethren, Imai, with him, V'yirdoif, and he chased Acharav, after him, after Yaakov, Derech Shivas Yamim, a path, a journey of 7 days. V'yad Vayeitzei, and he caught up with him, Bahar Gilad, in Mount Gilad. It's interesting because that's where
making the distinction between a 7-day journey and that Laban chased Jacob for 7 days.
I'm glad you asked, Watson.
Huh?
I'm glad you asked, Watson.
Have to speak louder, Rabbi. I don't have a hearing aid. Even with the hearing aid.
So why don't you sit closer?
I'm maybe going out in a minute or two.
Okay, that's okay. We won't bite.
Okay.
You promise not to bite?
Mhm.
Promise not to bite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Elementary.
Yeah. So let's learn Rashi and we'll find out. Excellent question. That's why we have Rashi. Let's go look at Rashi. Sechav, his brethren, Kroivav, meaning his relatives. Right? It wasn't literally his brothers because he didn't have any brothers. Right? So it means his relatives. It's her brethren, right? Derech Shivas Yamim. Oh, Shimon Leib's question. A journey of 7 days. Kol Oisem Shleishi Yamim. Those entire 3 days, Shahalach, Hamagid Lahagid Lavan. The informer went to tell Lavan that Yaakov had gone, right? Halach Yaakov l'darka. Yaakov went on his way. And Nimsa, so it comes out like this. Yaakov rachai milavan shisha yamim. Yaakov was 6 day distant from him, right? Because he was 3 days away from here. This is where they live, right? This is where they live. He was 3 day journey this way, and he made a 3 day journey this way. That's 6 day difference, right? Where do we get 7 then? Nimsa, so it comes out Yaakov, right? That so Hisigu Lavan, so Lavan caught up with him on the 7th of Bishvi. He caught up with him. Right on the 7th day. So we learn from this on Denu Shekol Masha Allah Yaakov B'Shivas Yamim. Everything the Yaakov had gone in 7 days. Why does it say 7 days? He didn't go in 7 days. He went in 3 days. It was distance of 7. Well, it was a distance of 3 days, 6 days. Well, I don't even understand what Rashi's saying there. Yeah, you didn't go for 7, right? 3 days and 3 days, and I guess it's including the day of departure or something like that. Okay, commentators pick this up. Halach Lavan went b'yom echad in 1 day. Shenemar b'yidei because he pursued him, but derech shivas yomim. It doesn't say he pursued him and it was a journey of 7 days that took him 1 day. Right?
On a horse, he was traveling fast.
Exactly.
Oh,
The verse doesn't say, Rashi is being exacting on the words. It doesn't say he chased after him for 7 days. It says he chased after him a journey of 7 days.
Yeah.
It's a journey that took 7 days that took him a day. Right? That's
You have so many kids and everything is so heavy.
right.
Yes.
Takes
Exactly.
much longer.
Much longer, exactly.
He had cattle.
He had
The sheep.
He had all the possessions. He had young kids, like Chaim said, right? He had young kids. So all of that, was
It's nothing. It's just
Look what
He-
Jacob
he-
was walking with.
Running like a maniac.
yeah.
yeah,
Look what Jacob was walking
Want to
with.
give him
He had a
a
whole entourage with him.
yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
Family, wives,
Yeah.
oxen.
In any case, but I wanna make sure that we appreciate over here. We're not learning our own ideas over here. We're learning Rashi, and Rashi is being precise on the words. He's getting this not from a concept, right? He's getting it from the words, because the word says that he chased after him a journey of 7 days, not that he chased after him for 7 days. That's where Rashi's picking it out from. It's very important that we get that, because otherwise we're not properly learning Chumash Rashi. We're getting ideas, but it's not called limud. It's not called study. Okay?
Right. Thank you.
Okay, 24. Yovay Elikim el Lavan, and God came to Lavan, Harami, the Aramean, Bachaloim Laila, in a dream at night. And he said to him, beware for yourself, pen lest tidaber im Yaakov, lest you speak with Yaakov mitoy v'adra, from good or bad. Oh, either way. Rashi mitoy v'adra, he picks up on those words from good or bad. The truth is, the exact translation is from good until bad. Kol tevas sh'shoim. Why? Why not speak good? Because all the good of the wicked people, Rahu Eitzel Tzadikim, is bad and evil by the righteous.
What does that mean? Even the good things they do is considered evil.
But they have
Don't even say good, because you're good.
differences.
An evil person, they're good, is not good. It's only for their own benefit.
Exactly.
Their self-benefit. It's not, it's
Different agendas.
yeah, they have an agenda. Exactly. So righteous people who do things because it's right, it's righteous, it's appropriate, right? Not for an agenda, not for self-benefit. They hate that kind of behavior. So God says to him, don't even say good. right? Okay, V'yaseg Lavan is Yaakov, and he overtook him. He reached him and overtook Lavan is Yaakov. Yaakov Taka is Eihalei, and Yaakov he pitched his tent Bahar by on the mountain. But Lavan Taka is Echa Bahar Gilad, and Lavan he also set up camp on Mount Gilad. 26. Vayomer Lavan leYaakov, and Lavan said to Yaakov, Ma Sisa, what did you do? V'tignai v'ez levovi, and you stole my heart. And you duped me, right? You tricked me. Patin Hag is Benaisai Kishvuyas Cherev, and you led my daughters away like prisoners of war. Shvuyais is prisoners. Cherev of the sword, meaning of war. Right? Rashi in 26 was Charev, the captive of the sword, called Chayil, any army Habalim Milcham that comes to war, Kruya Cherev is called sword. Right? So he's just showing that the word it literally means sword, but the reference over here means war. 27. Why did you hide? To run away. And you tricked me, you deceived me. And you didn't tell me. And I would have sent you away with great joy. And with song, and with tremble and lyre.
Forgive me for not believing.
Rashi in 27, and you stole me is literally what it means. Rashi says, Ganafti as daiti, you stole my mind. In other words, you tricked me. Right? You duped me, you tricked me, whatever term you want to use. 28. Veloy netashtani, and you didn't allow me lenashek to kiss levanai to my sons, levanai to my daughters. Ata now, right? Hiskalta also. Not listening to God so well, huh? And now you've acted foolishly. 29. No Rashi. Yesh lekel yadi. There is the power to my hands.
I have the choice.
I have the power to do with you ra, to do evil with you. However, the God of your father, last night, Amar Eli said to me, Lamor, saying, He shamar lacha, be careful for yourself. Medaber im Yaakov, to speak with Yaakov mitoy vadra, from good or bad, until bad. Rashi v'yesh lekel yodi, el yodi actually. Yesh koyach v'chayal b'yodi. I have the strength and the potential in my hand, la'asusi mochem ra, to do harm to you. The instance of kel is usually a holy term. Imshem izus v'roiv einim hu. Is used in the name of God because it connotes strength and great might. I'm not exactly certain what he means to say there, because he's speaking about his strength, not God's strength. Okay, 30. Vata, and now, haloich halachta, gone you have gone, ki nichsav nichsafta leveis avicha, because you are longing. The word nichsaf, nichsafta is a double verb, and you are longing, leveis avicha, for your father's house. Lama genafta es eloi hoy. Why did you steal my gods? Remember, what did she take? She took the trophim, right? Right? So he says, Nechsafta, longed, chamad, you're yearning, harbi yesh b'mikra. There are many words related in Torah. Nechsav v'gam kalsa nafshi. as we have in Psalms. The nifsa means longing and pining. The masecha yedecha tichsev, and you will long for your handiwork from Job. Okay, just showing what the word means. 31. Biyad Yaakov. And he responded now, Yaakov, to all of his claims, right? But Yemer the Lavan, he said to Lavan, Ki yaresi, because I feared, Ki amarta, because you said, right? I was afraid, for I said that pen tigzol is b'neisecha mi'imi, that perhaps you're going to steal your daughters from me, meaning his wives that are his daughters, right? That you're going to steal them from me. You're not going to let them go, right? Rashi 31, Ki yaresi, because I was afraid. Heshiva al rishon. He responded on the first claim first. Sha'amar lo, that he said to him, Tignev is b'nei that you led my daughters away, right? Now you stole my daughters. So he's saying, well, I was a little concerned that that's what you were going to do. You're not going to let them leave, right? You're going to hold them back, right? Now he continues. Follow this. This is a heavy duty verse now. Im asher timsa, and concerning your second question about his idols, right? His gods. Im with asher timsa, that will be found. Timsa means found, matzah. Es Eloi kecha, your God. Lo yichya neged achenu. That person will not live in the presence of our brothers. Haker l'cha, recognize for yourself. Ma imadi, what's with me? What belongs to me? Kach v'lech, and that which is not mine, kach v'lech, take and go. V'layada Yaakov, and Yaakov didn't know ki Rachel ganav vasam, that Yaakov stole them, meaning those trophim that we mentioned earlier. He didn't know that, right? She just did it to take him away from idolatry. But what did he just say? That person's not going to live, right? Lo yichya, Rashi on 32, he shall not live. Because of that curse, Rachel died on the road. Right? How could that be? How could that be? How could that be?
He said it.
He's a righteous person. A righteous person says something,
It's a decree.
so it is. So it is. It's a decree. And, he did it not knowing, obviously.
An example of what it says in Lashon Hara, that speaking in a negative way toward somebody that could kill someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it a
Ma
mistake?
imadi.
Loose lips.
Was it a mistake?
Loose lips.
Huh?
Was it a mistake to say that?
Was it a mistake? Absolutely not. How could Yaakov make a mistake?
A little louder.
It's not a mistake. He's not making a mistake. That was what was meant to be. Right?
Right.
It's not a mistake. He is a direct link, a holy person.
It's a mistake if you say that.
No, holy people don't make mistakes. Holy, righteous people don't make mistakes.
I thought they could make mistakes.
They could be lacking, but not make a mistake.
So what is it? What is in such a difference in that?
Because you're finite individuals, so you could be lacking. Lacking doesn't mean a mistake, right? Like sometimes, sometimes like even if you think about it in human interaction, sometimes you did something, it wasn't a mistake, but now you're more aware and you're more deeply aware and you could do better next time. Did that make this a mistake? No, didn't make it a mistake. It just means you're more aware on how you could do something better, right? For your children, sometimes you did something, right? And it wasn't a mistake what you did, right? But it could be lacking because now you're more fully aware on how you could have done that thing even better. That's all called a mistake means you did wrong. There's a difference between doing wrong and you could do better, right? Doing better doesn't make what you did wrong necessarily, right? I'm giving this, by the way, as a metaphor. It's just a metaphor, right? So the righteous, they are a complete reflection of the divine, so they don't make a mistake. Could they improve? Of course, because they're human. Only God is perfect. A human can't be perfect. Now, not making a mistake doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you don't make a mistake. So much so that it's not possible that a righteous person would accidentally even eat something that's not kosher, for example. It's not possible. Not possible. God would not allow such a thing. Heaven, because they're a reflection of heaven, it wouldn't happen. Period. So he didn't make a mistake here. This was correct, even though the verse says he didn't realize, right? Now, if he would have realized, what if he had done differently? Yes, but obviously God, that's what he wanted. He was the conduit for it to happen. If you recall, already when he kissed her, when he first met her, right, the beginning of the parsha, he kissed her and cried. He cried. Why did he cry? Rashi said, because she's not going to be buried with him. So it's already designated in heaven that this is what's going to happen. He's the conduit on how it's going to happen. So it's not a mistake, right?
So, but it could happen that a tzaddik would see something different than halacha because his avodah is different. For example, when they took the spoils from the war, Moshe Rabbeinu thought that if they just sprinkle the kelim, that would be good enough to make them kosher. But was it Yeshua? I said that no, it was Eliezer. But he said no, you have to dip them in the water, not just sprinkle.
No, I don't think. No, there's two different
It's
things.
a different halacha.
No, there's from Tumas Maize, and there's from.
No,
Anyway, but you know what? We got too much to learn here. It's a good digression. It's a digression that we could, if we have time, we could deal with later. But I digress too much already.
Okay.
No, well, it's a good, but we have to be ma'ayin over there. We have to look over there and see what it's saying there. I don't know
The
often.
Rebbe says that Moshe Rabbeinu sees things from above to below,
Right.
and Eliezer sees things from
From
below
below, yeah.
to above. So
So it's not a
but
mistake.
it's not a mistake,
It's not a
but
mistake.
he sees things differently.
Yeah. That's for sure. They
Different
should.
than the halacha. The halacha is to dip them in the water.
Right. Okay, well, we have to, yeah. Okay, but you're right. You're right. They see things that what's called das elyon. They see it the way it's on high, not the way it's merely down here. Okay, but that's yeah. Correct what you're saying, 100%. Yeah. Okay. Okay. 32. Im asher timsa. Oh, sorry. No, 32. We just did.
No.
Oh, there's the second Rashi, Ma Yimadi, that what is with me, Mishelcham, of that which is yours. You go, right? If someone has, that's what 33. The Yavai Lavan, and Lavan went Ba'ayel Yaakov into the tent of Yaakov, Ba'ayel Leah, and the tent of Leah, Ba'ayel Shtei Aimois, and the tent of the two um, um,
4 months.
maidservants, V'lei matzah, and he didn't find anything. Vayeitzei mi'oyel Leah, and he went out from the tent of Leah, v'yavai b'oyel Rachel, and he went into the tent of Rachel. Right? Rashi 33. Rashi 33. Ba'oyel Yaakov, into the tent of Yaakov, who oyel Rachel, which is the tent of Rachel. Shai Yaakov toder etzla, because Yaakov was always with her. V'chein hu omer, similarly it says, it says later on we'll have it, not now. It says Bnei Rachel, Eshes Yaakov, the sons of Rachel, the wife of the sons of Rachel, the wife of Yaakov. But all of the other wives, Lo Nemar Eshes Yaakov, doesn't say the wife of Yaakov, right? She was the main one, right? So when it says in the tent of Yaakov, it means it was in the tent of Rachel, right? Therefore, And then he came into the tent of Rachel. When he left Leah's tent, he went back to Rachel's tent. Before he searched in the tent of the maidservants. Why did he check so much by Rachel? Like, why by her more than the others, right? That's what's coming out over here, right? That he recognized in her, she's someone who touches everything. He suspected her more than the others because she's you have people when
Yeah.
they come they come and they touch everything and they check it out and so on. Other people they just look. She would like to touch things and to see.
He knows his daughter.
Yeah, he knows his daughter exactly. 34. Rachel lakha, and Rachel took as a terafim. She took these terafim, v'tasimeim mikar hagamal, and she placed them on the saddle of the donkey,
No, the camel.
of the camel. Sorry, camel. V'teishev aleim, and she sat upon them. V'yimashish lavan es kol oil, and he rummaged. He imashmish is like the word touching. Right, he touched, meaning he rummaged through the entire tent,
Frisk.
and he didn't find,
Frisk.
Yeah.
Uh,
Rashi Bikar Gamal in 34, in the saddle of the camel, Lushing Karim Uksusais. It's a language of terminology of pillows and cushions. Should be understood Targumoy, as Onkelos translates it, Ba'avita de Gamla, the saddle of the camel. Behimar da'as, it's the pack saddle. Asuya kifun kar, it's made like a pillow. Be'eruvin shaninu, and eruvin we learn she'ikifu be'avitim, that is surrounded with saddles. Be'hein aviti gemalim, the saddles of the camels, and in Old French, bastel. All right.
I read that she was Nida, and that took away the power of the.
1 second. 1 second.
Oh,
1 second. The timer Elavia.
okay.
Yeah. 35. And she said to her father, Al yichar be'enei adeni. Do not be angered in the eyes of my master. She's speaking to her father, right? Ki loy uchal lakum, because I'm not able to get up mipanecha before you, right? It wasn't proper. Well, it means she's sitting down. Your father walks into the tent, you stand up, right? That would be appropriate, but she didn't. Why? She says ki derech nashim li, because I have the way of women. In other words, she was menstruating, and I have the way of women, and therefore I can't get up. And he searched and he didn't find. As a terafim, the terafim. 36. Yeah. Verse 36. V'yichar Yaakov, and he was angry, and he became angry, Yaakov. V'yariv beloved, and he took up, he battled with him. He took his grievance up with him. V'yan Yaakov, and Yaakov responded, V'yomer leLavan, he said to Lavan, Ma pishi, what is my sin? What is my transgression? Ma chatosi, what have I sinned? Ki dalakti achrai, that you have pursued me. Dalakta, that's almost like you're inflamed against me, right? Rashi, dalakte, picks up on that word. Radafta, you chased. Kamoi ale ahorim dalakunu, as it says, you chased us in the mountains. Kamoi midlach achre plishtim, and pursuing the Philistines. He's just showing examples of what it means. Delek in Hebrew today is petrol, right? Is gas, right? It means you ignite, right? You're ignited. So Rashi is explaining it doesn't mean in this context, it means you chased. Right, you were ignited against me and chasing after me, right? Hotly pursued, actually, the way it translates over here.
Also,
Okay, that's a good translation. Hotly pursued, that would be good.
Also too light. It's like the fire goes very fast when you in the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah. 37. Ki meshashta, because you have rummaged, it's called kelai, all of my things, all of my implements, vessels, ma matzasa. What did you find? Mikol kli beisecha, from all of the implements of your home. Sim koi neged achai, said it before my brethren. In other words, like, hey, you rummaged, you went through, what did you find? Right? What did you find over here? Place it before us. And that will prove or decide between the two of us. Rashi, and let them decide. V'yivaru on me, imi hadin, and by you placing whatever you implements that you have found, that will clarify with whom the law rests. In other words, it'll either rebuke me or it'll rebuke you. Either you found something and I'm at fault, right? Or you found nothing and you'll be at fault. Just place it before. Let's clarify things here. And in old French, approuvé. All right. 38, verse 38. So he continues Yaakov in his response to him. This 20 years, anechi imach, that I was with you, mechelecha, your ewes, those are goats, veizecha, and your she goats, lo shikelu, they did not miscarry. The word shikelu means to miscarry, right? In other words, it would be normal that there would be a miscarriage from the sheep, right? Nothing, no, from the goats. The ele and the rams of your flock, lo yachalti, I did not eat. Let's see Rashi on this. 38. Lo shikelu, they did not miscarry. Lo hipilu ibura means they did not abort their fetus. And he brings rechem maskil, like a womb that miscarries. Tifale parose v'lo shakel, as the cow will discharge and not miscarry. Just showing that the word shikelu means miscarry. Nor did I eat the rams of your flock. Mikan amru, from here they said, El ben yaimai ayil, that a day-old ram is called a ram. She'im loy came, because if that were not the case, ma shivchai, what would be his credit? Elim lo yachol, rams I did not eat. Achol kvasim achol, but the lambs he did eat. Im kain, if so, gazlan would he be a thief? Now, he's saying, like, what do you mean? Like day-old ones I didn't? It would sound like, only the young ones I didn't, but others I did. No. So therefore, a ram doesn't mean just when it's born. That's what he wants to bring out here. Okay. Now he's continuing in 39. And further, treifa loy Vayeitzei alecha. A treif, which means an animal that was killed, right, by another animal, right, which is normal, right? If a fox, a wolf came, they go after the lambs, right? But that never happened. Under my supervision, these 20 years, there was nothing treif, a mangled animal, that put upon you. And oh no, sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't read it right. If it did happen that an animal got mangled, right? And it died, right? I bear the loss. Miyadi, from my own hand, to bakshenu, I exacted. Stolen by day or stolen by night. In other words, any loss, I incurred the loss. Even though I was working for you, it was not my sheep. So it should have been your loss, not my loss. But I took it upon myself. 39. Rashi. Sorry, yeah. Treifa. So Rashi explains al yedei ariv uzei, by a lion or by a wolf, right? In other words, it killed one of the flock. Aneche yachatena, I would bear the loss. Loshen keleya ke'even el sayra v'lo yachti. It's a language. It's related to lo yachti, which means that he could hit a hare with a rock and not miss. A loss, right? Ani uvnei v'shleima chatoim. I and my son Shloime will not be wanting. Chaserim, lacking. He's just showing that what the word means. Then, right? Aneiche chasrena, and I would suffer the loss. Im chasra, if it was missing. Chasra li, it was missing for me. Shemiyadi tivakshenu, that I would seek it from me. In other words, I would compensate for the loss, even though that was not, that was not part of the deal, because it's all his gain. If it's all his gain, then it should be all his loss, right? But he took upon himself the loss. Okay. Anechi achatenu, I would bear the loss. Targumai, Unkeles translates it, the habit shagia minyona, that which was absent from the total. Shahaisan ifkedis, for it, when it went absent, mechuseres, it was missing, right, from the total of the flock. As in the term that there was not a man missing. Targum shago. Shagia. Nothing missing. Okay. Again, it's grammar. Genuvasi yom, genuvasi laila, stolen by day or stolen by night. Genuvas yom, genuvas laila, whether it was stolen by day or by night, hakol shalamti, I paid for it. Right? I'm not certain what the difference is. Like, what's the difference by day or by night? By day, I guess. By night, maybe you're less responsible by night because, it's nighttime. So whether it was day or night, less responsible. But by day, you're shepherding. By night, you're sleeping, right? So maybe I don't know if that's the difference the verse is saying. Okay. The Nuvasi, stolen, kamoi. This is Rebasi Bagoim, great among the nations. Sarisi Bamidina is princes among countries. Malesi Mishpat, filled with justice. Banti Ladush. He's just showing that the yud at the end of the word, Genuvas, it doesn't need. Genuvasi means, the yud usually means possessive of me, but it doesn't mean possesses over here. That's what he wants to bring out. Okay. 40. Verse 40. Hayisi bayayim achalani chayre v'kerech v'alayla. Okay. Hayisi. This is how I was, he says now. Bayayim, by day, achalani chayre. I was, the heat consumed me. V'kerech v'alayla. And the snow by night. V'tidar shenasi me'enai. And my sleep, Tidad, it like kind of drifted away from me. I didn't have sleep, right? In other words, I was so responsible for everything that I took care of yours. I didn't even have sleep at night. Rashi 40. V'chalani chayrid. The heat consumed me. Lashon eish oichla. This is a term of a consuming fire, right? Heat, in other words, right? The kerach is coldness, snow. Kamei mashli karchay, as the verse says, he cast the snow. V'targuma glida. Ice cream, right? Frost. Shinasi, my sleep. Lashon shena, as a term that means sleep. 41. Zeli Esrim Shana. So this was for me 20 years with Beisach in your house. Avadeticha. I worked for you. Arba Esrei Shana, 14 years. Mishnei B'nai Secha, for your two daughters, right? First 7 years, and that for Leah, and the next 7 years was for Rachel. And he worked, what did he do? Took care of his flock, right? V'shei Shanim, B'tzainecha. In those 14 years, he still took care of his flock, but then he worked directly for 6 years, B'tzainecha, for your flock, and you changed my wages, aseres moinim, 10 times 10. That was 100 times. We'll see. We already had that yesterday. Okay, and you changed my wage. You altered the terms of agreement between us. From speckled to dappled. From ringled to stripe. We made a deal, and you would always change it, right? That you would say, okay, these kind of sheep you could get, and then you change it. Oh no, these sheep are the ones you're going to get, right? Because he saw that he was proliferating, and therefore changed the agreement. Last verse 42. If it was not for the God of my father, Elokei Avram, and the God of Avraham, Upachad Yitzchak, and the fear of Yitzchak, Hayali, that was for me. In other words, I had God present in my life. If it wasn't for that, because now I would be empty-handed. Shalachtani, you would have sent me away, right? If it wasn't for God being with me, then I was with God, right? Then I'd be empty-handed here, right? In others, you weren't there to benefit me in any way. As ani, I'd be empty-handed. My poorness, there's yagi of kapai, and the effort of my hands, toil of my hands. Ra'ya Lakim, God saw. B'yeichach amish, and He admonished you last night. Kirashi, pachad Yitzchak, the dread of Yitzchak, the fear of Yitzchak. Yitzchak. He didn't want to say the God of Yitzchak. And he said the God of Abraham, but not the God of Yitzchak. Why? Because God does not associate His name with the righteous during their lifetime. After they pass away, then they'll say the God of that person, right? Even though God had said to Yaakov, when he departed from Beersheba, the beginning of the parsha, Ani Hashem Elokei Abraham, Avicham Elokei Yitzchak. There says the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, of Yitzchak, because his eyes were dimmed, he lost sight. Sorry. Because he lost his sight, therefore it says because he lost sight. Harehu kameis, he was considered like a dead person. Yaakov but Yaakov was afraid to say the God of Amar Pach, and therefore he said the dread of. God said, I am Hashem, the God of Abraham and your father, the God of Isaac, right? So God is okay about saying that. He could say that even though Isaac was alive. But Yaakov was fearful to say that. It's not his place to say that. Therefore, he said that the dread, the fear of his father Yitzchak. And he admonished, rebuke, but not deciding, not to prove, but to rebuke. Wow. Okay. Finished just on time. Amazing. Wow. Okay.